Okay, I'm going to challenge Walsh to do something similar, although my challenge for Walsh on this, instead of his favorite big knives, Walsh is a master of what I call the little big knife, where it's a small size knife that feels substantial. I want to know what Walsh's favorite little big knives are. So Walsh, buddy, when you see this, you got to follow up with your own video. I'm challenging you, sir.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Wolfman Walsh here. And today I'm doing another video outside. It's just been a couple of nice days. A little warm, but nice nonetheless. But today I'm finally going to get back to the challenge that was presented to me from Mr. Enzo himself, where he did his big knives. He challenged me to little big knives. And what do I mean by little big knives? Little knives that can do big work, or just, you know, kind of punch above their weight class. And of course, we wouldn't be remiss without mentioning this little guy not this one, sorry. This little guy right here, the Sheepdog Mini. Now this is the XL version, there is one in between, but just for a size comparison of how different these two really are. This one I typically wear, you know, with jeans, and this one I can wear with shorts. This will weigh your shorts down unless, you know, you've got suspenders and a couple of belts on. But this one, the Mini in the rich light handle material, button lock, very nice. That's more so what we're going for with the little big knives. But as you know, we here at Knox Knife Mods, we really do enjoy our big knives. So anyway, we'll get these big honkers out of the way. We'll probably do a video on our big collection later on. Man, that just makes such a wonderful, sound. You don't get that sound out of the little ones, especially with this one. That echoes like throughout the neighborhood when you actuate that one. So anyway, we're gonna start right here with the Mini Sheepdog. This one in particular is in 154 cm and the gray rich light handle. Wonderful little knife. I ended up picking this up for $37 on sale. Great little knife. I'm so glad I was able to make this a part of my collection. It does big work. It does lots of work all the time. Another in the Kaiser family that I carry around a lot is one of our pride and joys here. It is the Kaiser Urban Bowie. This is the Lakota mod. And this is definitely a little big knife. The belly on this knife gives it a nice large cutting surface. It fits 3 fingers really well. Pinky finger, you know, kind of goes around the side there. Does not leave the hand, does not move. Could do a lot of work and looks really good in the process. Move that one down here. I'm going to stick in the Kaiser family for another moment. This is the Kaiser Hyper. It's a little bit longer as far as the handle is concerned. It sticks out a little bit farther, but the blade itself isn't that much larger than the Mini Sheepdog. This one's fun too, another button lock. I've gotten more button locks recently. Just now realizing that. And this one is a little knife, not only in its size here, but it's super lightweight. Out of the 3 that are down here, it's probably the lightest. I don't have a scale, but it's probably the lightest. So this is the Hyper. This is an S35 VN. So I've got 2 in 154, 1 in S35 VN. And then my last kind of small Kaiser here is my Kaizen Hunter Small. It's even in the name. Probably my favorite do-all workhorse. No thought is involved. if I'm just going to run out real quick, what's a knife I can pick up and I know it's going to work and it's going to function and it's just going to be awesome, it's this one. The Kaiser Small Hunter 154 cm. The G10 handles that are milled and sculpted so nice. Oh, this is such a great knife. And for even being a thumb stud, you can middle finger flick it pretty well. Thumb stud with the thumb, it's in the name. So out of those four, it is the heaviest, but it is still pretty small. Again, when you were comparing it to an XL knife, or a knife that's not considered XL, it's just considered large, it's still small. So moving on, let me move these down here out of the way. I'm gonna go to the MKM world here and get the Azonzo out. That wonderful little sheep's foot, the MKM Azonzo, the Young Link mod that we did here. First attempt of doing the copper wash that turned out phenomenal. I wish it was still shine and pop like it did when it first came out wet. I wish I could get a sheen on there, because you just don't understand what that looks like through the camera when it's dry. You have to actually be up on it to see and be able to move, to look at the different color patterns. It's wonderful. Anywho, I believe this is it M3? Yeah, M390 on the blade. This little sheep's foot. Micarta handles, they were originally brown. I ended up just going green on green, getting this copper. It's not actual copper, it's painted copper wire clip, kind of to match. I think that modification turned out very, very nicely. Moving on, staying in the realm of fantasy. This is, if you've been here a while, this is no stranger to you. This is the R2D2 mod, or the Rat2 in D2. This was the first mod that I attempted all on my own. There's also a brass wash. The brass has washed off over time. That's why it's not food safe. The brass will come off over time, but the brass copper that we did should not. Try to do a fade on the G10 handles there. Not so good on the show side. The back side turned out really nice though, which is strange because I had a coat hanger through the pivot hole here and was dipping them at the same time. You can't see that. Dipping them at the same time. So why this side ended up with a harsh line and this side didn't, not really sure. But that's okay. Got some red anodized hardware to make that pop like his little 4-opter. Overall, great little knife. It's very small. It's the smallest of the rats. And it's very lightweight. I'm gonna pull this back out here. Yeah, it's just a smidge smaller than the Small Hunter, but it is considerably lighter. So I'm adding that to the small collection there. Moving on. I've said this on previous videos. This is the Petrified Fish Beluga. This thing, once you put thumb studs on it, is absolutely amazing. Probably the nicest handle materials in a budget knife that there are. This is the, they call it the Damascus, the G10 Damascus pattern on the handle. Sculpted, rounded, very smooth. All the edges are smooth, and it's a little bulbous in the center, giving a nice round overall feeling and texture. Just absolutely awesome. Fits really well, fits all 4 of my fingers just barely. The pinky can slide off there, but it's perfect for medium-sized hands, large fingers and a tiny wrist. Perfect knife. 14C28 in on the blade. I do not like this little thing right here, the nub. It does not actuate well, but adding the pinch studs makes this knife perfect. Smaller than the Small Hunter. So if it's smaller than the thing that has the word small in the name, it's small. But very, very slicey. Probably need to sharpen it soon. As I'm sitting here turning and I can see kind of the sun hitting on it, I've got a couple of spots that look a little dull. So we need to sharpen that, but it gets a lot of work, so that makes sense. And we're semi going to end on the OG, the Kershaw Shuffle 2. I know what you were thinking. Does he still have it? We haven't seen that in a long time. Yes, I do still have it. Yes, it does still frequent the pocket. However, when you have 200 knives and there's only so many days in a week, it's hard to get everyone in the pocket every day. So the Kershaw Shuffle 2, 8 CR on the blade. Cry in the comments, I don't care. The plastic injection molded handles. They do have some texturing on it, which is pretty nice. And the finger wells, the extra choil there, let you get some good purchase choking up on it. And of course the bottle opener on the end, always good for a party. Flathead screwdriver, wouldn't recommend it as a pry bar. I don't think I've ever actually used it as a pry bar, but with it being screwed into plastic, probably wouldn't do that. But the screwdriver part totally works. Yeah, you can carry it. Let's see, is this one tip up and tip down? No, this one's just tip down, but it is ambidextrous. So let's see. Now I'm going to move on to kind of the X factor of the little knives here. This is my Microtech Exo set. This is the Sand Trooper. Woo! What a sweet little big knife. The actuating on this is wonderful. It's stiff, but it's not like overly stiff to the point of annoying. It is the perfect amount of pull and push. Super slicey. That leaf-shaped blade, double-edged, slices so well. Now, typically this is only brought out for, things like family gatherings, things like that, because I don't want to beat this thing to death. This is just a much nicer piece, but I always bring it out at parties and family gatherings, and people are always like, "Oh man!" I'm like, I know, it's awesome. Thanks. Oh, the steel. I always forget the steel on this thing because it's not a common steel. At least it's not common for me. I'll put it on the screen here. But is it CTS or is it the other one? I don't know. You see it here on the screen. And I can never remember which one it is because depending on your serial number, there was like 3 different options of steel that you may or may get. And they got to the point of just labeling it as premium. But used to, you could look it up and put in your serial number, and it would tell you whether it was LMAX, CTS, or XHP. Is that the one? That sounds right. But now a lot of the new ones just say premium Microtech steel. So that's kind of the X factor for the littles. Big knives. Still, I mean, it's even smaller than the Kershaw Shuffle 2 there. So now I want to quickly get into 2 that you haven't seen. I'll give you a sneak peek to some upcoming videos. The first one I bought a few months ago. This is the Civivi Cindy. Oh my, what a nice little knife. I'm curious now because normally I can see, when I do the indoor videos, I can see the screen and I can see whether I'm in focus or not. So I'm really curious if this entire thing's been out of focus. We'll see. The Civivi Cindy, we'll just set it down there and see if everything will focus on that for just a moment. This is a Ben Peterson design. Wooden handles, which are very nice. Nitro V on the blade. It is coated. There's a lot of interesting things on this knife that I'm not going to go into in this video. But I'm not going to call it a little big knife. I'm going to call it a little knife. Because I don't feel like I can do big tasks with this knife. It doesn't feel, the handle doesn't feel hardy enough. This Beluga, which is, same length, it's a little bit thicker. The steel feels a little bit, thicker because it is. I trust bigger tasks to this knife. The same can be said about the Hyper, but these aluminum scales they're tough, they're rigid. This blade, I don't know what it is about this blade, it's not that much bigger, but it feels stouter. This is very much a very ergo-friendly mail opener, but it's really nice. Like, I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's a really nice knife. And I actually carried it today, and that's what made me think about putting it in this video. And there's some interesting things about this knife that kind of set it apart from other knives in its category. But you're going to get a video about that later, all to itself. Lastly, in the little knives section, this is a little knife. And when I first bought this knife, I thought it looked small because it was in DCA's hand. It's not, it's just small. I even looked up the specs on it prior to purchasing it and thought, that's not that small. It must be his hand. Well, it's not his hand. This is a small knife. This is the Dirk Pinkerton design Little Main Street, and it is little. It has the cosmic copper carbon fiber. Boy, that is hard to say. Love all of the kind of brassy accents on it. Awesome knife. It has the crossbar lock. I think, I mean, it's good. It's a good crossbar lock, but with how small this knife actually is, it's really hard to hang on to and open and close it, you know, well. So it does have thumb studs, so you can flick it. I'm better at the spider flick with this one because I have to hold it down. It's interesting. You know, look how small it is in compared to the Lakota mod. It's tiny. I mean, it is so tiny. It is a little knife. Isn't that crazy? So you'll get a video on that as well. If I had to pick a favorite out of all the littles here before me, man, that would be tough. They've all got their own place. I guess overall favorite knife in the little category is still the Urban Bowie, the Lakota mod, just because it has that kind of sentimental, you know, piece to it of, you know, the work and the time that we put into it. Biggest user workhorse of the group is going to go to the Kaiser Small Hunter. It's a great knife, and you know, it's if you don't look at the handle, what is it? It's the drop bear, Kaiser's most popular knife right now. But you look back here, oh wait, it's still kind of a drop bear. So why did this one not sell, but the drop bear is going absolutely bananas? I mean, good for them. But this one came in, what, 2 colors? There was this one and a green one, and it just didn't sell. And then they changed the name from Small Hunter to Drop Bear, and y'all are loving it. So, you know, good on them. But I think this would be my overall most used, most favorite. That's so hard to do. I have so many favorites. It's like trying to pick your favorite kid. Like, you can do it, but you're not supposed to, because you love them both, or all 3, or 10, or however many kids y'all have. But you know, there's that one that's just a little cut above the rest. So I think that's still the Kaiser Small Hunter for me. Well, I think that's going to do it. I hope you all have enjoyed this. I think now that this one's done, I'm going to pose a question to Mr. Enzo and say, let's do a big bigs. Let's just do all bigs and see what our favorite of the bigs is. Because I've got some, and I know he's got some. And honestly, I can't even remember. Like, there's 1 or 2 of his that I can think off the top of my head, his cold steels that I really like. But other than that, I can't. Dude's got so many knives. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. What little knife is your favorite? Let us know down in the comments. And until then, I've been Wolfman Walsh for Knox Knife Mods. Take care.